how important is a witness like this that can, at the end of the day, tell the jury his thoughts about what the defendant is accused of?
So, Ted, as we talked earlier, I think that this case, ultimately will come down to this sort of evidence. The idea that this gentleman intentionally killed 14 people, I think that's a stretch, and I think it's unreasonable. However, it's scientific evidence that's going to allow this jury to make a decision as to whether or not a reasonable doctor under these circumstances made decisions that led to the level of murder. I'm not feeling it, Ted. I don't know where you are or where the viewers are, but I just don't see it. There's certainly a reckless disregard that it can come in some lesser included charges, but the idea that he intentionally causes harm, I think is a stretch.
At the end of the day, if Ralston says, and we have heard it from other witnesses, that these levels were grossly inflated to what I would normally prescribe, and you have this many patients and this outcome happening over and over again, another one dies, another one dies, another one dies. Are you concerned that when you say you're not feeling it, do you feel the state, though, does have a real opportunity and it's a real possibility at the end of the day, jurors are going to think, yeah, okay, he either is grossly incompetent or he knew that this was going to potentially be the outcome, but he was doing it in a way to try to save them from suffering? And is there a little area for both to exist, both mentalities?
Yeah, Ted, I think so. And, I think maybe where the defense is kind of missing the mark a little bit is not falling on their sword for the incompetence of their client. I think that we've all, anybody that's done criminal law over the course of the last 15 years has kind of seen fentanyl come onto the scene in a very frightening situation, and we've seen it with celebrities, we've seen it in the streets, and we've seen it in these sorts of cases. And I just honestly think that there's a defense to be made that there's some ignorance here, that does it allow for an acquittal? Maybe not. But the idea that he was just, aggressively, sending this drug out. So I can tell you, Ted, I represented a gentleman 15 years ago. I can't go into details, obviously, but these guys had like hazmat suits because they were dealing this stuff. And I just don't think the doctors have been up to speed to the extent that they need to be associated with this drug. And in my opinion, I think this falls into that category. Is he culpable to some degree? Of course. But is it murder? I don't think so.